Good morning, everyone. Jim Clark here at the Synchronicity Sanctuary here in Central Virginia, ready to share another contemplation with you. So, for this contemplation for this week, we could say the theme is relax into being, okay? So the contemplation itself that will help assist you into that experience is simply this. All is one, one is none, none is all. Now to break this down a little further, all is one is pointing to the negative polarity. It is becoming the diversity of unity, everything that is in existence in the material world and within the relative field of experience that we are in here and now. It is becoming the diversity of unity. But from a holistic perspective, consciousness is eternally in the recognition of itself. It remains unified even in the relative reality. Thus, all manifestation is the same one, the same source consciousness. So, this contemplation, like all contemplations, is a useful tool for those who are practicing meditation and a holistic lifestyle. It's simply meant for you to consider for a while and then to allow it to take you deeper into the experience of what it is pointing to. It's not like a riddle, although it sounds like one. It's simply there to work in the background of your own awareness when you meditate, that you might experientially come into the recognition of the meaning of this contemplation, which is simply, there is only one. That one statement, which I've heard over and over and over for many, many years, really kind of says it all. There is only one, even though it appears as if there are many. The one is the many are the one. They're simply a manifest form, each form being an individualized expression of the same one consciousness that is all and everything. That's all there is to it. But since we're here as human beings and we are struggling to increase our awareness and therefore our understanding of what life is and what it's all about, we tend to go into our minds to try to figure this out because that's what we've been habitually trained to do. We try to reason, we try to conquer the riddle. But in this case, you really need to go out of your mind and into another state of being. That state is being itself, where being dominates becoming. And once you establish that state of being in yourself, then the realization of the meaning of this contemplation comes into your experiences. And then it unfolds from there. And the more you do that, the more you practice meditation, the more you go into your meditation and live your holistic lifestyle with some kind of a focus like this, the more likely you are to generate the experience that it is pointing to. You're setting kind of like an intention. When I go into meditation, rather than just being kind of like blank or just waiting to see what might happen without any conscious intention, you set a focus with something like this and then generate the experience of it. And that is what they're for. So all is one, one is none, none is all. All is one is simply saying that everything that is in manifestation, which is the negative polarity, is generated from and is an expression of the source consciousness that generated all of manifestation. They're not separate. They're one and the same. It is becoming the diversity of unity. And within this, even though we may not be aware of it on an individual basis, consciousness is always aware of itself. In the relative field of experience where this video is happening right now, where our lives are happening right now, we have the contrast of the polarities to generate what we call experience. But even though we may be locked into that part of our experience and not be able to go beyond that, there is a space between these polarities, and that space is where we generate and develop our own witness consciousness within ourselves, within our own being. And as you increase your balance by meditation every daily, and when you increase your balance by eating foods that help to support balance, by exercise, and by simplifying your life so that your focus can remain as calm and focused as it's possible for you to do, this experience gradually unfolds and generates itself as a vibrational presence. And that presence is the presence of the one that is all and everything. And that presence is you. So as you generate that experience, you start to realize that energetic that suddenly comes into being for you and seems to be a part of you, it sort of informs you energetically that is the truth of who you are, and this is what life is all about. Because with that energetic comes a different kind of information. It's a kind of a being. It's not a doing information. It's not like a written thing. It's not something you could ever put into words. That's why everything that anyone's ever written about from a holistic perspective can only point to what they're trying to get across, in the hopes that it might spur your curiosity and might make you, it helps to support your interest in meditation, that you might explore what the meaning is, but not from your mind, but by going beyond your mind, by creating enough balance that the positive polarity of being that you have within you may be able to expand enough that you can have, at least for a while, you can experience the information and the awareness that comes from that state of being. And if you continue to do this, if you continue to meditate and develop balance, what happens invariably is that you will establish constancy in that experience. When you develop enough balance and continue to support that balance, the negative polarity becomes the non-dominant polarity, which it is by default. And the positive polarity becomes your dominant polarity. And as that dominance increases from an increased practice and a focus on balance, then more and more opens up to you in your experience, and more that energetic becomes stronger and more consistent in your experience. And this has been my experience from the years of meditation that I have experienced here at Synchronicity Sanctuary. It's cultivating the truth of who you are. That's really what it all comes down to, is simply the willingness to explore in the beginning, and the endurance and to continue to practice day after day after day, irregardless of what one meditation may be in relation to another meditation. That's really not the point of it. The point of it is that the consistent practice of meditation consistently develops more balance, and with more balance comes more wholeness, and with more wholeness comes more awareness. And as your awareness expands, the energetic aspect of your own existence, of your own truth, becomes more and more dominant. And as that vibrational essence becomes more and more dominant in your awareness, the meaning of it becomes more and more clear to you. You gain more clarity. So with more balance and with a dominant positive polarity, you gain more clarity into what life is and what the human experience is really all about. It's unlocking a potential that does not exist for all of the life forms on this planet. It exists for us because we have the ability to reflect our experience back to ourselves. and we have the ability to create that kind of a balance because we can make it, we're at choice. If we choose to create balance, if we choose to live a holistic lifestyle, and if we stay with it and remain true to ourselves in that practice, then it's inevitable at some point your awareness is going to expand to where the meaning of contemplations such as this become clear to you because you'll have the experience of that meaning. And then you'll be able to relax into being, which is what I'm experiencing here and now as I'm giving this live stream. I wake up, I'm in that experience. I go about my business in the day, I'm in that experience. I go to bed, I'm in that experience. And what I do myself and what I highly recommend is whenever you feel as if somehow the mind is trying to run the show again, is trying to take you down that negative pathway, meditate. Just meditate and watch. Don't judge it. Don't worry about it. The mind is trying to do what it thinks you want it to do. And from your history of manifestation in different forms and different human lives, it's got a momentum to it, and it takes time for you to break that momentum and to develop the balance that's necessary to quiet the mind to the point where even if it's running a thought, even if it's thinking, you're still in the experience of being. So if my mind is thinking, I'm still in the being part of my existence is still dominant. It doesn't go away. So in a sense, this is what we mean when we say consciousness is eternally in the recognition of itself. In truth, it pretends to be what it is not. But in truth, that's just pretense. It can never be what it is not. It can only ever be itself. So the source consciousness that created and continues to create all of what we know as creation is updating itself moment to moment to moment and constantly moving itself to fulfill its primary intention, which is to fully be itself. So in the play of consciousness where it's pretending to be what it is not, it begins with a dominant negative polarity where the human expressions, that's us, are totally unaware of the truth of who we are, and we gradually move ourselves to the point where we're ready to recognize who we are. We're ready to drop the pretense and move into the truth of who we are. And when this happens, the teacher shows up in whatever form and whatever expression is appropriate for us. This comes into our reality, and then we have that impetus and that focus in our life. And if we continue to choose to be true to that focus, we become more and more aware, and we become more and more grounded in the experience of being, which is leading us to as close as we can get to full awareness of ourselves as consciousness within the relative field of experience. So even within the polarities and the play that goes on within that, consciousness is aware of itself. And we are that consciousness becoming more and more aware of ourselves as consciousness, as the one that is all and everything. So with that, I bid you adieu until next week when I'll be back with another contemplation. And I hope that you'll celebrate this holiday season by celebrating yourself in as truthful a way as you possibly can. So until next week, I wish you well, and I hope that you all have a blissful experience every day and every moment of your life.